Hello, friends. Over the past year, a series of bills that older Americans have been forced to pay for decades have quietly been shut off, and I mean actually stopped by law, starting now. Some of these were costing seniors hundreds of dollars a month. Some were costing thousands of dollars a year. And a shocking number of the people they help have no idea the charges have already stopped. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific bills that seniors are no longer being charged in 2026, what each one is, how much it was costing you, and the one thing you need to check to make sure you are actually getting the savings. Let me be honest with you up front. A couple of these happen automatically, and you do not have to lift a finger. But 2 of them require you to do something, or you will keep paying a bill that no longer exists. Think about that for a moment. Charges you paid for your entire adult life switched off, and for a lot of people, nobody ever said a word. So stay with me to the end, starting with the biggest one of all, the change that finally put a ceiling on a cost that used to have no limit at all. Before we get into it, subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the bell. These are some of the biggest changes to hit seniors in years. They are still rolling out, and nobody at Medicare mails you a letter to say, "Good news, we stopped charging you for this." They just change it and expect you to already know. Subscribe now and let's get into it. Bill number 1, and this is the big one. The unlimited prescription drug bill is gone. For as long as Medicare Part D has existed, there was no ceiling on what you could be forced to spend on your prescriptions. If you had cancer or a serious chronic illness or needed an expensive specialty drug, you could be on the hook for $5, $10, even $20,000 a year out of your own pocket, with no limit and no end in sight. That is over. Starting in 2025 and continuing this year, Medicare put a hard cap on your out-of-pocket drug spending. In 2026, once you have paid $2,100 out of pocket on your covered prescriptions for the year, you are finished. After that, you pay $0 for your covered drugs for the rest of the year. Medicare and the drug companies cover the rest. Let me say that again because it is that important. After $2,100, your prescription cost for the year is $0. This also permanently killed what used to be called the donut hole, that awful coverage gap where your drug costs suddenly jumped in the middle of the year and caught people off guard. The donut hole no longer exists. To put a real face on it, a senior on a cancer medication or an expensive specialty drug who used to spend $15,000 a year on prescriptions now stops paying at $2,100, a saving of nearly $13,000 every single year from one rule change most people never heard about. For a senior on expensive medication, this single change can be worth thousands of dollars a year. And it is completely automatic. You do not have to apply for it. But here is what you should do. Keep track of your spending, because the month you cross that $2,100 line, everything after it should cost you nothing. And if a pharmacy still tries to charge you, that is a mistake worth catching on the spot. Bill number 2, the high cost of insulin is capped. And this one has been life-changing for people with diabetes. If you use insulin, Medicare will no longer charge you more than $35 for a month's supply. Not $35 after you meet some deductible, $35 from the very first fill, deductible or no deductible. Before this rule, seniors with diabetes were routinely paying hundreds of dollars a month for the insulin that keeps them alive, and many were rationing it, cutting their doses to make it last longer, which is dangerous and sometimes deadly. Now, no matter which covered insulin you use, and no matter what tier your plan puts it on, The most you pay is $35 a month. Roughly 3.5 million Medicare beneficiaries use insulin, and for many of them, this cap saves hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. For a diabetic who was paying $300 or $400 a month before, that is not a small difference. It can be the difference between filling the prescription and skipping it. So here is your check. If you are on insulin and you are still being charged more than $35 for a month's supply, something is wrong. Either your insulin is not on your plan's covered list, or you are at the wrong pharmacy, and it is worth a phone call to fix, because the law now says $35 is the ceiling. Bill number 3 is brand new for 2026, and it is the first of its kind in Medicare's entire history. The government has started negotiating the price of your prescription drugs directly with the manufacturers. For the first time ever, starting in January of 2026, Medicare negotiated lower prices on 10 of the most expensive and most widely used drugs in the country. And these are not obscure medications. They are drugs that millions of seniors take every single day, including Eliquis and Xarelto, which are common blood thinners, and Jardiance and Januvia, which are diabetes medications. The negotiated discounts range from about 38% all the way up to 79% off the old list prices. To give you a sense of the scale, these 10 drugs alone account for a huge share of everything Medicare and seniors spend on prescriptions each year, which is exactly why they were chosen to go first. A blood thinner that used to cost a senior well over $100 a month could now cost a fraction of that. If you take one of these 10 drugs, your cost could drop significantly this year without you doing anything at all. And this is only the beginning. More drugs get added to the negotiation list in 2027 and again in the years after that, until dozens of the most expensive medications in the country are covered. So here is your action item. Look at your prescriptions, and if you take a common blood thinner or a diabetes drug, ask your pharmacist or check Medicare.gov to see whether your medication is on the negotiated list, because if it is, you should be paying noticeably less this year than you were last year. Bill number 4. You are no longer being charged for your vaccines. And this is one that a lot of seniors are still paying for out of pure habit, because they never heard that it changed. Under Medicare Part D, every vaccine recommended for adults by the CDC is now completely free. Zero copay, zero deductible, zero cost. The one that matters most to people is the Shingles vaccine, which used to cost around $200 out of pocket, enough that a lot of seniors simply skipped it and gambled on not getting a painful, dangerous illness. Now it is free. And it is not only about the money, it is about the shots people were skipping. When shingles cost $200, huge numbers of seniors went without it and ended up in serious, lasting pain. Removing the price removes the excuse. So is the RSV vaccine, the TDAP vaccine, the hepatitis vaccines, and your flu and COVID shots. And here is a detail most people miss. These are free, even if you go to a pharmacy that is outside your usual network. There is simply no reason to pay for a recommended vaccine anymore. If your doctor or your pharmacist recommends a shot, you can say yes without worrying about the bill. And if you have been putting off the shingles vaccine for years because of what it used to cost, that reason is gone. Go and get it, because it will not cost you a single dollar. And bill number 5, for most seniors, the federal tax on your Social Security is effectively gone. For decades, a large share of retirees paid federal income tax on part of their Social Security checks every year. But because of the new senior deduction that took effect in 2025, an extra $6,000 deduction for anyone 65 or older, the amount of income that actually gets taxed drops so sharply that by some estimates, close to 9 out of 10 seniors will now owe no federal tax at all on their Social Security. Now, I want to be straight with you because there is a lot of misleading talk about this. The tax was not technically repealed and erased from the books. What happened is that the deduction grew large enough that most seniors no longer have any taxable income left for that tax to reach. If your income is modest, there is a very good chance you now owe zero. For a couple who has been paying a few $100s a year in tax on their benefits, that is money that simply stays in their own account now. But this one is not fully automatic. You claim the deduction on your tax return, so you want to make sure your tax preparer is actually applying it, and that you are not still making estimated tax payments as if you owe money that you no longer owe. So here is the full list of what seniors have stopped being charged. 1. The unlimited prescription drug bill is gone. Your out-of-pocket drug cost is capped at $2,100 in 2026 and zero after that. 2. Insulin is capped at $35 a month from the very first fill. 3. Medicare negotiated big discounts up to 79% on 10 major drugs starting this January, so check whether yours is on the list. 4. Every CDC-recommended vaccine, including the Shingles shot that used to cost $200, is now completely free. And 5. Thanks to the new $6,000 senior deduction, most seniors no longer owe any federal tax on their Social Security. Just make sure you are claiming it. One more thing worth knowing. If a big drug bill still hits you early in the year, before you reach that $2,100 cap, Medicare now lets you spread those payments across the year with no interest at all, through something called the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan. You just have to opt in. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and share this with someone on Medicare so they can stop paying for bills that no longer exist.